Life doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't stop to ask if you're ready. It doesn't wait for you to gather your strength. Life just keeps moving, dragging you along, whether you can stand or not. And let me tell you something, the mind, it's your battlefield. If you can't master it, you'll lose every time. Your mind is the only thing in this world that you can truly control. Not the people around you, not the car circumstances, not the chaos that life throws at you, but your mind. That's yours. And if you don't take charge of it, someone else will. If you don't control your thoughts, they will control you. They'll eat you alive. You think strength comes from the body, from muscles? No, real strength comes from the mind. It's the way you think when the world is falling apart. It's the way you stand firm when every voice in your head screams for you to quit. That's where power is born. In the silence of your own thoughts. In the choices you make when no one's watching. But mastering your mind, it isn't easy. No one ever tells you that, do they? They make it sound simple. Stay positive. Think good thoughts. As if it's that easy. But it's not, you know that. The dark thoughts come. The self-doubt creeps in. The fear tightens its grip around your throat. And suddenly, it feels like you're drowning in your own mind. I've been there. I know what it feels like to fight against yourself. To wake up every day and wonder if you've got it in you to keep going. To stare at your reflection and see someone you don't even recognize anymore. But let me tell you this, you don't give in. You don't let the darkness win. Because if you do, it'll swallow you whole. You've got to face it. The fear, the doubt, the pain, it's all in your head. And the only way out is through. You've got to confront those thoughts, those feelings, and tear them apart. Piece by piece, or thought by thought. You've got to rip out the lies you've been telling yourself and replace them with the truth. The truth is, you're stronger than you think. You've survived things that would break most people. You've faced challenges that would send others running. And yet, here you are, breathing, fighting, still standing. That's not luck. That's strength. That's resilience. That's power. But you've got to believe it. You've got to stop waiting for someone else to tell you you're enough. Stop looking for validation in other people. Stop relying on the world to tell you what you're worth. Because the world doesn't care. It never has, and it never will. Your worth doesn't come from what others think of you. It comes from what you think of yourself. It comes from the way you hold your head high when the world tries to bring you to your knees. It comes from the way you keep moving forward, even when every step feels like it's breaking you. The mind, it's a weapon, but it can also be your greatest enemy. If you let it, if you allow the fear to fester, if you let the doubt take root, if you feed the negative thoughts instead of starving them, you've got to take control. You've got to take that weapon and use it to fight. Because here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to fix you. No one is going to pull you out of the darkness. That's your job. That's your fight. And it starts in your mind. The battles you face out there, they're nothing compared to the war that rages in here. In your head. The war between who you are and who you want to be. Between the voice that tells you to give up and the one that screams for you to keep going. And if you listen closely, you'll hear it. That quiet voice. The one buried under all the noise. The one that's been fighting for you all along. That voice is your strength. That voice is your truth. And it's time to start listening to it. Every time you doubt yourself, every time you feel weak, remind yourself of everything you've already survived. Think of the pain, the struggles, the heartbreak, and then realize this: you're still here. You're still breathing. You're still fighting. That means you've already won battles you didn't think you could. And that means you can win this one too. You've got to train your mind, just like you train your body. You don't get stronger by sitting still. You get stronger by pushing yourself, by stepping into the pain, by embracing the discomfort, because growth doesn't happen in comfort. Growth happens in chaos, in darkness, in the moments when you feel like you've got nothing left to give. So stop running from the pain. Stop hiding from the fear. Face it. Stare it down. Let it know that you're not afraid anymore, because fear only has power if you give it power. And the moment you stop feeding it, The moment you stop letting it control you, it shrinks. Pain is temporary. Fear is temporary. Doubt is temporary. But the strength you gain from overcoming it, that's forever. That's what stays with you. That's what defines you. The mind is a battleground, but it's also your greatest ally. Master it and you can master anything. Control it and you can control your destiny. It's not about being perfect. It's not about never feeling weak. It's about refusing to stay weak. Weakness is a choice. You can either sit there, let it consume you, or you can rise. You can stand even if your legs are shaking, even if your heart is pounding. But staying down, letting the pain, the fear, the doubt win, that's the easy way out. And you're not here for easy. You're here for what's right. You're here to master yourself, to take control of the chaos within and turn it into power. You see, the world is full of people who gave up on themselves. People who let their minds break them instead of building them. They spend their lives pointing fingers, blaming the world, blaming others, blaming the past. But not you. Not anymore. Because you've realized something, haven't you? The only person standing between you and the life you want is you. Every day, every single moment, you have a choice. To feed the strength or to feed the fear. To believe in your worth or to doubt it. To fight or to surrender. And let me tell you something, every time you choose to fight, every time you choose to believe in yourself, you're building a foundation, brick by brick, thought by thought. It's not about being the strongest. It's not about being the smartest. It's about resilience. It's about endurance. It's about outlasting the pain, outthinking the doubt, and outworking everyone who said you couldn't do it. It's about proving to yourself, not to anyone else, but to you, that you're capable of more than you ever imagined. But let's not sugarcoat it. This isn't a fairy tale. It's not going to be easy. Mastering your mind is the hardest thing you'll ever do. It will test you. It will break you. And it will rebuild you. There will be days when you feel like you've made no progress. Days when the darkness feels too heavy. When the voices of doubt are too loud. On those days, remember this, the struggle you feel is proof that you're growing. The pain is proof that you're alive. And the darkness, it's where the strongest minds are forged. You don't become powerful by avoiding the shadows. You become powerful by walking through them, by owning them, by refusing to let them own you. You are not your fears. You are not your failures. You are not the mistakes you've made or the scars you carry. You are what you choose to become. And every time you get back up, every time you push through the doubt and the pain, you are choosing strength. Don't let anyone tell you it's impossible. Don't let anyone, not even yourself, convince you that you're not enough. You are more than enough. You've been through hell and back, and you're still standing. That's not weakness. That's power. That's resilience. The mind, it can be your prison, or it can be your weapon. It can chain you to your fears, or it can set you free. The choice is yours, and every day you make that choice. Every thought you entertain, every belief you hold, every action you take, it all shapes the person you become. So what's it going to be? Are you going to let your mind control you? Or are you going to take control of it? Are you going to keep letting fear and doubt dictate your life? Or are you going to take the reins and carve your own path? Because the truth is, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to do the work for you. No one is going to fight your battles. This is your life, your fight, your journey. And the only way you win is by mastering yourself, by mastering your mind. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about doing the work, even when it feels impossible. It's about believing in yourself, even when no one else does. Your mind is your best weapon. Sharpen it. Strengthen it. Train it. Because when you do, there's nothing you can't achieve. No mountain you can't climb. No battle you can't win. The battle is endless, isn't it? Every day you wake up and face the same enemy, your own mind, the whispers of doubt, the echoes of past failures, the weight of expectations. It's relentless. But here's the thing, relentless doesn't mean unbeatable. It means you've got to be just as relentless, more so. Your mind is like a wild beast. Untamed, it'll tear you apart. But if you train it, if you master it, it becomes your greatest ally, the strongest weapon you'll ever wield. But it takes work, discipline, sacrifice. You can't let it run wild, feeding on every fear, every insecurity, every shred of negativity. You've got to cage it, control it. And how do you do that? You start by understanding this. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every fear deserves your energy. Your mind will throw everything at you, every what if, every worst case scenario, every excuse to stop trying. But you've got to separate the noise from the truth. You've got to recognize the lies for what they are and refuse to give them power. The truth, you are capable of more than you believe. You've always been. But belief isn't enough. You've got to act. You've got to prove it to yourself over and over again until there's no room left for doubt. You've got to push even when it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. Because the world doesn't care about your potential. It doesn't care about what you could do, what you could become. It cares about what you actually do. And if you want to rise above the noise, if you want to stand out in a world that's built to break you, you've got to take action. Fear will try to paralyze you. Doubt will try to slow you down. But remember this, the mind doesn't control you unless you let it. Fear isn't real, it's a product of your thoughts. And thoughts, they can be changed. They can be reshaped, reprogrammed, rewritten. But it takes effort. It takes commitment. It takes the kind of grit that most people aren't willing to muster. That's why so many stay stuck, locked in the prisons of their own minds. But not you. Not anymore. You've made it this far because something inside you refuses to settle for less. You've tasted the bitterness of defeat. You've felt the sting of failure, but you're still here, still fighting, still breathing. That's all the proof you need that you're stronger than you think, stronger than the doubts, stronger than the fears, stronger than the limits you once believed were unbreakable. Mastering your mind isn't a one-time battle. It's a lifelong war. Every day you'll face new challenges, new fears, new doubts. But every day you also have a choice to let the fear win or to fight back, to let the doubts drown you or to rise above them. Some days you'll feel like you're losing, like the darkness is too heavy, the pain too sharp, the fight too exhausting. But those are the days that matter most. Those are the days that define you. Because anyone can keep going when it's easy. Anyone can feel strong when the sun is shining, when the path is clear. But when the storm hits, when the walls close in, when everything feels like it's falling apart, that's when you find out who you really are. That's when you prove to yourself that you're unbreakable. That's when you remind the world and yourself that you're not someone to be underestimated. Because here's the truth, the mind doesn't break you. It builds you. Every time you overcome a negative thought, every time you push through the fear, every time you choose to keep going, you're building a fortress of strength, resilience, and power. And that fortress, it's unshakable. No storm can destroy it. No enemy can penetrate it. Because it's built on something unbreakable, your will, your determination, your refusal to quit. So keep building, keep fighting. Keep proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you ever imagined, because the mind is your battlefield. Yes, but it's also your kingdom, and you are its ruler. Rolling your mind isn't about being fearless. Fear will always be there, lurking in the corners, waiting for the moment you feel weak. But courage, real courage, is looking that fear in the eye and stepping forward anyway. It's the ability to say, yes, I'm scared. Yes, I'm unsure, but I'm still moving. You see, people talk about strength like it's something you're born with, like it's carved into your bones, but it's not. Strength is built, brick by brick, battle by battle, Every time you fall and choose to rise, you're building it. Every time you hear the voice in your head telling you to quit, and you keep going anyway, you're creating it. And that's what most people don't understand. They think strength is the absence of struggle, the absence of pain, but they're wrong. Strength is born in the struggle. It's born in the moments when you feel like you can't you on, but you do. It's born in the times when the weight of the world is crushing you, but you refuse to let it break you. Mastering your mind isn't about erasing the pain, the fear, the doubt. It's about using them. It's about taking the things that were meant to destroy you and turning them into fuel. Because here's the truth. The things that hurt you, the things that broke you, they didn't win. You're still here, still standing, still fighting. And that means you're stronger than you think. Stronger than the pain. Stronger than the doubt. Stronger than anything this world can throw at you. But you've got to believe it. You've got to stop waiting for the world to hand you proof of your worth. The proof is already there, written in the scars you carry, in the battles you've fought, in the fact that you're still standing. The mind will test you. It will try to convince you that you're not enough, that you're too weak, too broken, too far gone. But those are lies. And your job, your responsibility, is to tear those lies apart, to dismantle them piece by piece, until there's nothing left but the truth. And the truth is this: you are capable of more than you've ever believed. But capability isn't enough. Potential isn't enough. You've got to act. You've got to take the thoughts that serve you, the beliefs that empower you, and turn them into action. Because the mind is powerful. Yes, but it's only as powerful as the actions it inspires. A strong mind without action is like a weapon left to rust. It's useless. The thoughts, the strength, the resilience you've built, they mean nothing if you don't use them. So use them. When the fear comes, face it. When the doubt whispers, silence it. When the pain feels unbearable, push through it. Because every time you do, you're proving to yourself that you're stronger than the things trying to hold you back. And that's the key, isn't it? Proving it to yourself, not to anyone else, not to the world. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what others think of you. It's about what you think of yourself. Can you look in the mirror and see someone who refuses to quit? Can you look in the mirror and see someone who fights, even when the odds are against them? Can you look in the mirror and see someone who doesn't just survive, but thrives? That's what mastering your mind is about. It's about becoming the kind of person who refuses to be defeated. The kind of person who doesn't just endure the darkness, but learns to navigate it. The kind of person who doesn't just dream of greatness, but works for it. And here's the thing: greatness isn't a destination. It's not some far-off place you reach when you've made it. Greatness is in the way you show up every day. It's in the way you fight for yourself, for your future, for the life you want. Greatness is in the way you refuse to give up, no matter how hard it gets. It's in the way you take control of your mind, your thoughts, your actions. It's in the way you choose, every single day, to keep going. Because that's what it comes down to, isn't it? Choice. You can choose to let the fear win, or you can choose to fight. You can choose to stay down, or you can choose to rise. You can choose to let the doubts consume you, or you can choose to believe in yourself. And every time you choose to fight, every time you choose to rise, you're proving to yourself and to the world that you're unbreakable. Unbreakable, that's the word. Not invincible, not flawless, but unbreakable. Because being unbreakable doesn't mean you don't fall. It doesn't mean you don't feel pain or fear. It means you don't let those things define you. It means you rise, no matter how many times you've been knocked down. Life is brutal. It doesn't care about fairness or justice. It'll throw punches when you're already on the ground. But your strength, your power comes from getting up anyway. From refusing to let the hits keep you down. That's where resilience is born. Not in the absence of hardship, but in the refusal to let it win. Mastering your mind is about taking control of that narrative. You stop being a victim of your circumstances, of your doubts, of your fears. You start becoming the author of your own story. And let me tell you, there's nothing more powerful than that. But don't think for a second that it's going to come easy. Mastering your mind is a fight. Every single day. It's waking up and choosing to be stronger than your excuses. It's going to bed knowing you've done everything you could to push forward. There will be days when it feels like nothing is working, like the progress you've made is slipping through your fingers. Those are the days when most people quit, but not you, because you know that real growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in struggle, in pain, and when you feel like you've hit your limit, when it feels like you can't take another step, that's when you're closest to a breakthrough. Because the mind, it tries to protect you. It tries to keep you safe, keep you comfortable. But comfort is the enemy of progress. And safety is just another word for stagnation. You weren't made to stay comfortable. You weren't made to play it safe. You were made to push, to fight, to grow, to become something greater than you were yesterday. And that only happens when you step out of the comfort zone. When you push past the limits your mind tries to impose on you. Because limits, they're not real. They're lies your mind tells you to keep you small, to keep you from failing. But failure isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace. Because every failure is a lesson. Every setback is a stepping stone. Every fall is an opportunity to rise stronger than before. And that's the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's the willingness to fail, to learn, to adapt, and to keep going. It's the refusal to let fear dictate your actions. The mind is a battlefield. And every day you're fighting for control. Some days you'll win. Some days you'll lose. But the war is never over. And that's a good thing. Because every battle is a chance to grow. Every struggle is a chance to prove to yourself that you're stronger than the things trying to break you. So don't shy away from the fight. Don't run from the darkness. Step into it. Face it. Own it. Because that's where your power lies. In the willingness to confront the things that scare you. To challenge the things that hold you back. You have everything you need to win this fight. The strength, the resilience, the fire. It's all there. Buried under the doubts and fears and lies you've been told. But it's up to you to bring it to the surface. To use it. And when you do, when you take control of your mind, you'll realize something. The world hasn't changed. The challenges, the struggles, the hardships, they're all still there. But you've changed. You've become someone who doesn't back down. Someone who doesn't give up. Someone who refuses to let the world dictate their worth. Because your worth is not up for debate. It's not something anyone can give you or take away. It's yours. It always has been. And the moment you stop doubting it, the moment you stop questioning it, is the moment everything changes. The mind is your greatest weapon. It's the key to everything you want in life. But only if you learn to master it. Only if you choose every day to fight for control. So fight. Fight for yourself. Fight for your future. Fight for the person you know you're capable of becoming. Because you're worth it. Because you deserve it. And because, at the end of the day, no one else can fight this battle for you. It's yours. And I'll tell you this, you're more than capable of winning. Now go. Prove it. Mastering your mind doesn't happen in a moment. It's not a sudden realization. Not an epiphany that strikes you in the dead of night. It's built through the choices you make every single day. Through discipline. Through repetition. Through the quiet battles no one sees, the ones fought in the stillness of your own thoughts. You see, the world is loud. Opinions, distractions, temptations, they're everywhere. And if you let them, they'll drown out your own voice. They'll steer you away from your purpose, your vision. But the mind you're working to master, it knows the truth. It knows the path. Silencing the noise now, that's where the real work begins. You can't control the world, but you can control how you respond to it. You can't stop the distractions, but you can choose not to indulge them. Every time you say no to the things pulling you off course, you're sharpening your focus, strengthening your mind. And focus, it's a weapon, sharp and deadly when wielded right. Most people scatter their energy, chasing everything, committing to nothing, but not you. You've learned, or you're learning, that true power lies in commitment, in pouring everything you have into the things that matter. It's not about doing more, it's about doing better. It's about clarity, knowing what you want, why you want it, and what you're willing to give to get it. And make no mistake, you'll have to give time, effort, comfort, relationships, You can't hold on to everything and still expect to grow. The mind doesn't just need to be mastered, it needs to be fed. Fed with discipline, with purpose, with action. But most importantly, it needs to be fed with belief. A belief in yourself so unshakable that it becomes a foundation, something you can lean on when the weight of the world feels unbearable. And belief is not about arrogance. It's not about thinking you're better than anyone else. It's about knowing that you're capable. That no matter what life throws at you, you'll find a way to rise. That even when you fail, and you'll come back stronger. Failure isn't the enemy. Fear of failure is. Fear will keep you from trying. It'll keep you small. But failure is a teacher. It's proof that you're in the fight, that you're pushing your limits. And every time you fail, you learn. You grow. So don't run from failure. Chase it. Seek it out. Because every failure brings you closer to mastery, closer to understanding yourself, your mind, your limits, and closer to breaking those limits. Mastering your mind isn't about achieving perfection. Perfection is a lie, an illusion meant to trap you in a cycle of doubt and dissatisfaction. Mastery is about progress, about becoming a little better, a little stronger, a little wiser every day. Some days you'll feel unstoppable. Other days you'll feel like you're back at square one. That's normal. That's the process. But every step, no matter how small, is a step forward. Every victory, no matter how minor, is proof that you're moving in the right direction. And here's the thing, no one's coming to save you. No one's going to do the work for you. You have to want it. You have to fight for it. And you have to be willing to face the parts of yourself that you'd rather ignore, the fear, the doubt, the pain. Because those parts, they're not weaknesses. They're the raw material for your strength. They're the fire that forges the steel, but only if you confront them. Only if you use them. Your mind is your best ally, but only if you make it one. Left unchecked, it can become your worst enemy. It can sabotage you, convince you to settle, to quit, to accept less than you deserve. But mastered, it's unstoppable. The choice is yours. Stay where you are, or step into the fight. Stay comfortable, or embrace the discomfort that leads to growth. Stay small, or rise to your full potential. It won't be easy, it won't be quick, but it will be worth it. Because when you master your mind, you master your life. And there's no greater power than that. So decide, right here, right now, who are you going to be? The person who lets the mind control them? Or the person who takes control? The person who settles for mediocrity? Or the person who demands greatness? The choice is yours, it always has been. Now go, prove it.